visitors and stuff. They already recognize it as being some kind of, ritual, ceremony, prayer, whatever it is, and they go, "Isn't this a gentleman?" And they treat it with reverence. Even if they never even heard it before, they just know that it got to be something reverent. So, the reason why I brought that out is because the reverence of what we're going to learn today is probably all I want you to get out of this whole thing is that it is, the topic matter is very personal, very deep part of our culture that we got to take seriously, because that's the foundation that we have not brought with us, or has not been brought down with us as it should have. Because if we had that, I think we would be in a situation where all the struggles that we're going through as Hawaiians, Native Hawaiians, and those of you that are not Native Hawaiians, but those of you that are supportive of the Native Hawaiians, and Native Indians and Native anybody's, indigenous peoples of the world, is because of, at some time or another, there was a broken bridge within their history. And because that went by the wayside, we suffer for it today. Okay, so you guys all got your pot in front of you.
Hi.
Okay. Now the serious part is over. Those articles, and by the way, I just ran it as is on the thing, and I noticed that all the articles printed wrong, So never mind, fix it yourself, I hope. But anyway, those articles I wrote a long time ago, but it was written. There was a series of articles. I had a column in the Lahaina News. It's not one big newspaper. Okay, I get it. Pages, one of those real community kind of small newspaper. But the column was entitled Kaini Ike, and that means to seek knowledge. And what I did was only stories about Lahaina that I knew. But when I got into this one, I noticed that it was beyond just Lahaina, and this is really the story about not lizards, for sure. What is mo'o to you? Well, you related to visit. Yeah. And yeah, and when we're small too, you think of the one on the screen and you get yeah. Or you know, my auntie. I have an auntie. I gotta tell you this story. My auntie Kamukia is in a wheelchair. My father's sister. She had polio when she was young. She's always been in a wheelchair. But my auntie is scared to death of lizards. Because I guess when she was small, one would fall from the roof onto her. She's been paranoid about lizards. So she was over at our house, and at my house, when I was young, I used to, I don't know why, maybe that's why I'm so stuck on this mole thing, but I used to collect lizards or chameleons, and I used to keep them in my box, and I had name everything, Charlie Akana, I gave him my last name. As a child, and I raised this chameleon. I used to go catch the flies and bugs and alive and throw them in a box so you could eat. That's all great. And then later on, I learned to just eat. You take them out of the box, put them on the screen. They eat, they feed themselves, and then you catch them again, put them back in the box. Well, at this time that she was there, these chameleons was out of the box catching the things, and I didn't know. One of them got into the bathroom. My auntie had gone into the bathroom, and bad enough with polio, her upper body was big to get herself out of the chair for going to the toilet. She had got on and stuff like that. But anyway, she was in there, and nobody done anything. You could hear this screaming. And my uncle, her husband, my Uncle Billy, Ohana, huge, big Hawaiian guy. And he was like, oh, no, now what happened? So he went running down the hall, opened the door, and my auntie was now sitting on the sink. She had somehow got all the way up on the sink, from the chair to the toilet, which is even lower, the toilet right up to the sink. And so he stands at the end of the hall, he yelled out at everybody, "Hallelujah, it's a miracle she can walk!" In the meantime, my auntie started crying instead of and he teasing her like, anyway, I have to tell that story. Because the chameleon was over there on the floor. And then, of course, my father said, "Get over here!" And he grabbed my ear, dragged me down the hall, get it! So anyway, consequently, Charlie took a dive right after that. I wasn't going to take any lickings for him anymore. Bruh, you're moving out. Walked out. Okay. But anyway, and Fuan knows me from when I was young, so she knows how cool that was. It's a perfect funny story. But that Momo is not really the one that I'm talking about. And those of you that don't know, because I don't know if you guys, you get that kind of Momo, you know, the small white ones, you guys know? No. Yeah. But they're outside, or they come to the house. Yeah, they come to the house. Right? It's like the Jacksons and that kind with the ninja. It's just a regular ugly kind. Well, those, you know, I mean, for us, you know, that's what we related to, because when we grew up, that's what we related to. That's what they called it. But this mo'o has a lot more meaning. And we see the word mo'o in a lot of other words. And so I'm going to turn on one little touch in your brain right now. Mo'o is also the Hawaiian word for lizard, but it is the word for embryo. Embryo, as soon as the egg, the human egg is fertilized by the man's sperm, boom, that's called Mo. Now, remember 4th grade when we had the health class? How many of you even remember 4th grade? Did you go to 4th grade? But anyway, they, under a microscope, of course, you would see something like this, right? They show you, oh, and this is the human embryo. Looks like this. They don't show you what happened before this. Unfortunately. But we figured it out later on. In 5th grade, we figured it out. So, here's this thing, and what does that look like over here? Look like one mo'o, right? And what is it in? This egg is what? What is around it? Sack of what?
Water.
Ask her, she's amniotic. What is it called? Amniotic fruit? Wow. Ooh, big word. Okay. It's water. Okay? So, makes sense because two things that you need to know. Mo'o were considered also aumakua, or protectors. And they specifically protected fresh water. They were the freshwater deities for the Hawaiians. Okay? And they were much bigger than that little thing. They actually were these much larger creatures. Okay, so the thing is that the Hawaiians called that mo'o, that egg. The thing is that never had microscopes. And that really is, that whole thing is really like that big. How did they know that? Somebody, something, right? But that's what they call it. Yeah. Okay. Now, that embryo is sitting in the womb of some woman. And she supplies all the nutrients and everything to this new embryo. And she also supplies the water. And in that water, there are nutrients, there are also there's blood running through there, and everything else. It's connected by what? To what? The umbilical cord, which is Hawaiian people. And the person that is supplying that is the puna, is what they call it. Puna is the Hawaiian word for spring. So that kind of spring water that just comes up out of the ground, untouched, clean, fresh, and constantly flowing. So the puna is the one that houses the mo'o. Okay? So the mo'o grows into a full-term child. Kikilan again, the expert on this. The child comes out. It's still attached by what? The pico, which you have to oki the pico, cut the pico, and then what happens? And then what happens? There's another thing that happens after that. There's the afterbirth that takes place, and that means the whole placenta is discharged also, right? But that mo'o then gets a life of its own. It's not dependent anymore on mama, except to feed until it's ready to run off on its own. It's all about grow up, hurry up. Oh look, he took this first, so cute. Oh look, he said mommy took this, mama, I know, even though he was going, mom, give me food. It becomes mama. And then you say, you know what, shut up and sit down. Now you know I can walk or talk, okay? Because they're talking too much and walking too much. And running. Isn't that right, Katie? Cute, while you still can hold them in your arms. Okay, so anyway, so that mo'o grows up and then has its own child. That child is what we call the mo'o. Why? That mo'o. From the puna came the mo'o. From that mo'o, the generation is mo'o puna. The next generations that come after that, any and all the generations that come after that, are called mo'o pu'auhau. Generations, genealogy, succession. Well, the hotel burned down. Okay, let's go. And then, once you get enough mo'o kuauhau, generations, Then you have the magic Hawaiian word that we all learn about. I hope you have in your hula. If you haven't, come to your teacher is a Mo'olelo. And Mo'olelo is history, legends, stories. See, you gotta have some things happen through a line of succession before you can have Mo'olelo. Because otherwise the Mo'olelo is going to be boring just about the one person you just moved before you. Okay? You can say that. And the Mo'olelo is, you know, my great-grandfather, he used to go down the Young Street to pick up prostitutes over there. Whatever it is, it's usually colorful and fun and interesting. But look at that now. All those words with this mo'o sound. Okay? Then we have words like mo'ohele. Trails, pathways, walkways that take you out into the distance. Mo'oali'i. Genealogical succession of chiefs. All of them talk about one thing. What is it? What is it referring to really?
The beginning?
Beginning of what?
Life.
Life? All life? Or what? What?
The family.
Families are what? What are we all over here?
Ohana.
Huh? No. We're people, yeah. It's human. It's about the human race and humans coming into the world. Before that succession, there's a succession of, and it's called the Kumuliko and Kumuhonua. Basically, it's a succession of how the one cell turned into two, and and then before you know it, that fish came crawling out of the water, the serpent land on the ground, and turned into monkeys who turned into us. Or you can believe that way, or even another way. Christianity says God made Adam in his image. And Adam would pull out one rib, and he pulled one rib from Adam and made Eve. And then they saw each other naked, ate the apple, and happily ever after lived. And the Hawaiians had that story too, in a sense. It's the Papa and Wakea story. Papa being Mother Earth, Wakea, Father Sky. And the Indian, Native Americans have that. First people set it up. Starts with the sky and the earth. And what happens with the sky? The earth takes a trip somewhere, Papa goes off somewhere, and the sky, Father Sky, fools around with who? To make some more people. He fools around with Ho'ohulani, who happens to be his daughter, the stars. And they have other islands. The story in Papa Wakea is the islands. And it starts with Hawaii being born, and then Maui gets born, and it goes this way across, from the south east to the northwest. The story of Pele, on the other hand, goes from the northwest. You have Kauai, she's moving. Every time she goes, the fire gets put out by Na Mamo, and eventually she settles in Kilauea at sea. And let me just tell you the difference. The Pele story is the story of the geological creation of the islands. Geological. These islands came up out of the ground. The Papa and Wakea story is the story of the migrations from Polynesia. The islands were settled first, Hawaii was settled, then Maui, and it moved across that way. So the peopling of the island is the Papa and Wakea, the human part. And the geological part is the Pele story. Did you know that? keep that in mind. It's going to really help you understand why. And in that story of Papa and Wakea is another story. How man came to be. And this story is Wakea, Father Sky, while Papa is away in Kahiki, and Kahiki can be any place outside of Hawaii, fools around with his daughter Ho'ohopulani. And she gets pregnant. But that baby is stillborn. And so she's told to take that baby and plant that baby in the garden outside her house. Bury it over there. She then gets pregnant a second time from Wakea, and that baby is born man, the first human. Because these guys are gods, okay, that are doing this. And when that baby is born, something else happens. Where the first baby went into the ground, out from the ground comes the first taro plant. And that taro plant is called Haloa, the long breath. So consequently, it now, Haloa Naka, which is the son that's born as a human, and Haloa the plant are brothers, directly related. And that's why, for the Hawaiians, the environment and all the things that grow within are considered not just things or plants, but relatives. And the Haloa, that plant, if you watch how taro plants reproduce, they shoot up little keikis underneath over here, under the leaf of the bigger one. And when that's big enough to handle and live on its own, the papa leaf, the bigger leaf will go. Okay? And this one can grow on its own. It gives up taking its nutrition from the plant so that the younger plant baby can grow. Just like us, right? And the name of that stem that comes up, that holds it up, is Oha in Hawaii. The Oha. So, when you have many Oha, it's Ohana is the word. The Na is a plural and it's added to the backside of it. Ohana. Like Nohona. Noho is to dwell. Nohona is lifestyle. The way you live. More than just one thing. But anyway, so that's the word Ohana. So if the plant is having Ohana and the human is having Ohana, we're still related. So we can go around, you can go kill that plants and go knock down, cut down all the trees and everything, and you know that that's, it's your kashin and your anti-them and whatever. No. Your job, just as it is for you amongst your own families to take care of your family, then it is also includes everything that Papa produces and Father and Wakea produces in the sky and everything else. So what does that make us? Stewards of our families, of the land and everything else. That we have to be. Unless, of course, we all have this too. We fight at home with our families too. Man, my sister, she's doing all this stuff for me, and I'll give her one slap. Well, we do, but in the long run, that is what we're here for. Family and our responsibilities to one another as human beings and to the earth as our relative is priority. That's how our kupuna look at their responsibilities. Now we had a gap there because all of a sudden I say, hey, you don't need to work here. Use this thing. You see this teeny. Take them to the store where you can buy that. And we got all crazy about that and said, never mind, I need to do other things. But then we relinquished our responsibility and life changed.
So how do we get that back? And what is that? Anyway, it's called kuleana. We have that responsibility. Our kuleana is to do those things. So, now you don't have to read all that 3 pages. See how they if you can turn to the picture of that mo'o that I did over there. By the way, I did them this morning on my computer after being up all night. I don't know how I even managed. But I think it computer already. Another thing. We are Hawaiian, but we're living today, okay? So one of the things we have to realize is that just as they did back then, as soon as they got one metal tool, the stone maker was out of work, okay? The adze guy. You think he sat over there and still wouldn't go chip away rock when he knew, give me that hammer, never mind this, okay? Why? Because we're smart enough to know that, okay? We're not stupid, we're not going to live like that. That's why computers is good. Use them. Use them to do this kind of thing so you can tell everybody what our access to stuff. Anyway, so I'm giving you a good overview of, over here, mo'o level, that was given to me by Kupuna. And if you look at this mo'o on the head, and I'm going to have you read them, and also anyone over here on this table, could you read that very top thing on the head right now? Anybody? Come on, you guys.
Akua.
Okay, akua.
And Nakimio.
Nakini o ke akua.
Akua.
And mana. Manao. Manao iyo. Okay. Now, it's in the head. It came at the beginning. That's where we all came from, the akua. Kini o ke akua are just the multitudes of gods, you know, that they said was all. My learnings from my grandmother, great-grandmother, is that it is all the same God, one God, Io. Io means the light, the truth, the absolute truth of all. Okay? So, that akua was responsible in the head for the mana that we have. And the word manao is what? What does manao mean?
Knowledge.
Knowledge, thoughts, sharing all of that information. What is manao iyo? Manao iyo, manao lana. It's the 3 virtues. Faith, hope, and charity. Manao. Okay, manao iyo is faith. So that really refers to also spirituality, as does mana. Mana is the spiritual power. Manao iyo is faith. That somebody out there, you have faith in something that is running this whole thing, and we only along for the ride. Okay? So that comes from the brain part of the mo'o. Where else? Then you got the 2 front legs. This table here, can you read what it says underneath, on the leg there, the front leg?
Na
Na'aumakua. Yeah, very good. Alakai, very good. Na'aumakua are guardians. The aumakua are the familial guardians. I want to break somebody, you guys thought right now, and tell you that aumakua are not sharks, all the sharks, or all the birds, quails, and all the lizards. No. People knew which shark it was that was their aumakua. They had certain markings on it, they fed it, they knew specifically who it was. So if we kill sharks in the ocean, it's okay, we should be. Because if that bugger's going to bite me, I'm going to kill him. But if it's your family one that you know of, certainly you're not going to kill him. But you're not going to kill him, and it's not going to kill you. It might kill the neighbor because he stole your taro plant. And you go fishing, boom, they went after him. But it won't kill you. So, not everyone. It is a spiritual form that takes that form for the time being. Becomes the shark to protect you. or becomes the pu'eo to protect you. So the word nakiai or kiai is guardian. And alakai is the guide. And if you look at where they're located on the front legs, that is the driving, the wheel of the car. Because that can determine whether he's going to go left or right. If he comes up against something and he wants to go around, that's the one that will steer. Those front legs is the one that steer the car. So those Na Mamo are very important because you come, that isn't going along, you come up against one snake. He's going to go straight ahead to head because he's the protector of the rest of it. So he's going to make a quick left and jump on top of my auntie. Okay, so this table over here, read the one that's just below the neck, by the heart. Can you read that, please?
Yeah.
Nakapuna.
Nakupuna. That's right, you guys too late, slow. Nakupuna, and what does it say under Nakupuna?
No.
Na'au. You know how I say, it's in my na'au. Here, local name, inside, right over here. Can be the heart, it's all of your inners, inner feeling. You know how you get that inner feeling? Okay? That's what the na'au is. But look at the other word, na'auau. Na'auau is, au is the word for knowledge too, or light. Na'auau means knowledge, knowledgeable, and wisdom. And the kupuna are those that carry that wisdom, that have that inner, they know from over here. When they tell you, no good, you know what, you better not go over there, I don't know. And why? And never mind, I said. Because I said. Because they know something that you don't know. They feel something that you don't know. And their job is to teach, to take that knowledge and make sure that everybody gets that knowledge. The thing is that we have too many kupuna today that call themselves kupuna. Yeah, you kupuna, right? Because all they relate to is that they have grandchildren. So now you kupuna. But we know that there's a difference between kupuna and kupuna'o. It's the other one we call. Kupuna'o are teaching kupuna. Kupuna who live the lifestyle. You know, they never grew up at in a whole different way. They still grew up in the old way. And they know maybe enough of the language, they know enough of the traditions that they can pass on the knowledge of our people. And that, by the way, is shrinking down. But down here, this other generation is growing back up again, so we're kind of lucky. But looking at most of you here, we probably missed a lot of that, regardless if you're on the mainland or even at home. But
Attention,
now,
I have your attention, please. This is the hotel safety team. The hotel's emergency response team has determined that it's all clear. Once again, it has been determined that it's all
we
clear.
died already. We're all Amakulas over here already.
Attention, I have your attention, please. This is the hotel safety team. The hotel's emergency response team has determined that it's all clear. Once again, it has determined that it's all clear, and there's no need for clear. Sorry for the
This oven was burning down. Anyway, does that make sense to you? Is that making sense to you so far? Yeah. Okay. So now, after that, you got those little lines going down. That's the vertebrae, like a spine. Okay? And each one of those vertebrae actually represent generations. The mo'opuaha, one generation after the next, after the next. But as you can see, halfway down, what does it say over there? Na Mamo. And what's the word underneath that? Iwi kua mo'o. Pua is back, mo'o is the lizard, iwi is bone, the backbone of that lizard. Okay? E Hula is our spine. And that represents Na Makua are the generation we call the parents. Mara Fara. And their job is like the spine is on a person, is to keep everything intact, enable the person or thing to move, walk or crawl or whatever is necessary, because without a spine you cannot. And give support to the whole family, supporting the kupuna, the children, the realms above them, God, Amakua, making sure everybody does their, go to church on Sunday, and and work and bring in the dollars for the family. Namakua, Iwi Komo, the backbone of the family, the center. Does that make sense? Okay? And then you get some more of those things coming down over there. And on the outside, those back legs, they're big, usually bigger than the front legs on most lizards or lizard-like animals. What does it say over there? That's Opio and Kaika. Opio are the youth. And not that we don't listen to their brains, but we shouldn't be listening to them as much. I'm serious about this because you see nowadays, you always want to make youth be a part of these kinds of decision things. That's good. But to include it in the family thing is not good. Why is that?
It's not Hawaiian.
It's not Hawaiian thought, but why else not?
They don't have a broad base of knowledge.
How much knowledge do they have yet? They don't. They need to, we want them to, but they don't really have. And even their own decisions that they make, they screw up because they don't have enough knowledge yet. They gotta have a few times of screwing up before they don't know. Oh yeah, that wasn't good, yeah. And let me tell you, I was the expert at that, wasn't
You like doing that a lot.
Okay. So, the OPO is there to support on the side of Ikaika. They have the strength. Use and abuse them. Carry this thing. Come on, get over here. Go help your grandfather with that. You, clean the yard. You, get around.
We do all
And you know what that's giving them? It's giving them also an education, and it gives them a values to understand. And when you grow up, you're gonna have to do this by yourself. And you might have a group of your own 6 slaves that you might you can do, but for the time being, you're my slave. And you're gonna just follow what I say and do what I say and when you need that well, carry it. Go get it. Damn thing, I cannot carry it. It's too heavy for me. Send them out there, that's their job. And in the lizard, if you see, those back legs is what propel the lizards forward. They are the ones that are the actual engine part. They just dig in and they get stuck on the other side. But who's guiding? Remember, the front legs is the Amakua, making sure that they're protecting everything behind. The kids in the back just going. They don't know where they're going. They're just going, just like this. Not all, but I'm saying that because it makes a lot more sense to to have them participate is one thing. To actually give them voting rights or whatever that they're pushing for nowadays, that's going to be a big mistake, okay? Because they're not ready. And they need to be doing the Ikaika thing first. And one day they can move up. It's okay. Okay, so now we got the Iwi Komo. You got your backbone going down. And what's the last thing over there?
Opuna.
Which is what? What did you say other than that? Ola Lahui and Ola Mau. Those grandchildren, when I say grandchildren like that, I mean young children, the babies and beyond, or before they even babies, embryos, even back to Mo'o again. Because Ho'ola Lahui means to what? Perpetuate or give life to our race. That means that as long as we keep having those things, we're going to still be around. Okay. To anybody, human race. Ola Mau means life forever, or ongoing life. That is not going to be an end to this. And that's exactly what's happening, because we're all still here, we have the babies having babies, and those babies going to have babies, and we go and we go and we go and we go. On and on and on and on. And so what happens to that lizard if we keep going like that? Is it the same size anymore? It grows with generation after generation after generation. It's not a small lizard anymore. That's a big sucking lizard, okay? Bigger than the one that keep crawling in your house and thing. Okay, so what does that mean to everyone? That means that you see that line going down, the vertebrae. Okay, can I use a few of you, because this way I can help. Can I take two ladies from come up? Please come up. And then you guys two right over here, and two from that. Come in. No, you don't need nothing. Just line here, Papa, Miss Papa. She had and housed the first Mo'o. Had this child. This child grew up and had this child, the Mo'o Puna. And then here we have the Mo'o Pu'auhau generation. And way at the end over there is me telling the story about all these people we have in our genealogy. I'm telling this is my genealogy. So at the end, the child that I am, I'm going, you know, great Ohana was the first one to invent the wheel. She went, carved this stone, the thing was round, the thing would fall out of her hand, would roll down the hill. She'd feel, oh no, I can do something with that. Thank God for her. So when she came along, she took that wheel, my great grandmother, and she made one car out of it. Actually, she made one bike first. She made one bike. And so now, when we used to walk from, I'm using Hawaii, places in Hawaii as an example, from Alamoana Shopping Center to Pearl City, now we can ride bike. Because of her, she came into the picture, okay? So by the time he came to the Mo'o Puna, he said, the hell with that bike? I'm so tired. Let's make a bus. Because I am not pedaling it up. That's too long to pedal. So thank God, because she invented the wheel and she had the bicycle, he was able to now in his generation come up with the bus. Okay, then brother over here came into the picture and he said, you gotta sit there and 4 hours to get to stop every 10 minutes and then damn thing the hell with it. I like the idea of that wheel, but we're gonna put it in the sky and make a helicopter. And that helicopter gonna take me home. Okay? So, brother did the helicopter. Then came this other brother over here, and this brother said, I'm not going anywhere. I don't like to do nothing. Never mind. I'm not going to go anywhere. I just going to surf every day. I can walk down the beach. I live right by the beach. I know with everything, And if I need money, that's all right. I go sell, coconuts and pakalo. And I'm fine with that. And you know what? I don't need learn nothing new and I don't invent anything. Brother becomes in the backbone, he becomes the slip disc. Look at this modern, So, slip disc. Now slip disc, because I haven't used it before, I have to slip disc means this is what happens to you. And what do? They usually take it out. And they do what they call one fusion. They fuse the other one together. So that, okay, we're not even going to have this in there. All that two discs will become one. And no need, could get pads on the other one. And rather the slip disc is out of the picture. But what happens after that? The pattern, is it the same now? Okay. Now, she knows nothing. She never learned nothing from him except how to surf. He never told her about helicopters, this, that, the bus, bicycles, and the wheel. So she gotta go find that all out herself. Sometimes it means going down and carving that stone again and having it fall out her hand so that she can say, oh, the wheel will go. Why? Because brother decided he was going to surf. Do you understand? What I'm saying is that that's exactly what happened with Native Hawaiians. And others. I keep saying that. I'm relating to Native Hawaiians. That's what we do. It's a hula thing, and we're talking more. But it happened to many other indigenous races and peoples all over the world. We lost touch with who we are, where we came from. And I have to say this right now. Europeans are people from the Orient, Orientals, countries like that. A lot of the more Western countries, especially America, didn't see the importance in that. And because they were separated when they came over here, and they really wanted to be separated totally from Europe, they basically cut that off. And when they came to America, the first thing they told me is, you better learn English while you're here. Learn English, never mind, don't be talking Italian over there, because no longer on that. And basically, what their past was too traumatic for them to even want to remember anyway. They were making a new life. So that whole part of their life was cut off. We're not going to find out about that. Same thing happened with the African Americans coming from, they were forced to cut that off. And it wasn't until years later that they said, I like to find out, I'm Kunta Kinte, I know. But, no more Kunta over here in Hollywood. But they tried, they went, and what they did was they imitated whatever they could. They said, oh, well, I'm in Africa, they wear beads. Everybody get beads. It's what the Hawaiians doing now. It's what we do now. Same thing. I want to be that. So, they wear all of his shirts. I gotta go buy one. And we're missing the other part of it. And all it is to find out who these people was. Go do the research. Find out who these people was. Because when you acknowledge their existence, what comes with that is what comes from the kupuna over there. What is that? When you acknowledge your kupuna, your na'au and na'awau, you know what it is to be that one. You have knowledge. The Hawaiian word ike means knowledge. Ike. It also means to see. And what that says is that you can see so well in your mind's eye that you know. You know what I mean? What the mind's eye is? That kind of see is not, I can see you sitting there. But I can see a bright future for you. Going to college, and you're going to be doing this and that. That's the kind of see. Or that you're so familiar with something that even if you're not there, the picture comes to you in your mind of being there. Like you guys living over here. And you know you had family or somebody or you knew people or you had been living in Hawaii before. And when somebody says the word Waimanalo, all the pine trees come back, the white, really silky sand that's stuck all, all that stuff, yeah, and the Portuguese was floating on the thing. That whole thing you can just imagine. All they said was Waimanalo, and push, it all came back to you again, like you never left. That's Ike to know, to see with your mind's eye so well that you know. Okay, so by doing that, acknowledging that, the Puna was here at one time, then you get from her all the successive knowledge back to you again. Yeah.
Email.
And email. And you're right. The royalties is coming in from the helicopter and everything. Yeah? You've now connected back. You understand the collective knowledge of those. Okay. Now one more thing if we go, please back there again. Now, if she was the first one, this is the second generation, third generation. And now she's wondering, who's my family? Where are they standing? Where are they in relationship to her? They're in front of her, right? In front of her. In Hawaiian, the word front, to go forward, means imua or mua. But it also means before. So everything that is in front of her, before her, is actually in the timeline scale, the past. All of that happened before I got here. So the past is in front of us. Not like how the Westerners think. The past is over there. No, the past and all of our ancestors, all the people that we came from, stand before us. We're only over here still yet. We don't can be over there yet. We get plenty more time. We better learn all that stuff too before we. But they're before us, and all that we do, flip this. What happens to where is the future? It's everything that comes after. The word hope means behind, but it means also after. Va ma hope. The time that came after me. So I was here. Everything that comes after me is the future, and it's over there. So if we screw up in this world, we become that slip disc, we're not doing the right things, guess what? You're not screwing up only you. And this is also true with vertebrae. The slip disc will affect 7 discs below it, after it. And 7 generations is what we say. We affect 7 generations for our screw up today. That is bad. That is bad. I'm trying to put this into perspective that says that when we grumble about what's happening to us, Hawaiians and this and that, it's our fault. Rather we go serve. I know, I see my genealogy, I know what mine is. And the other thing is that we don't want to pass, you know how you say, oh, that name's in our family line. Well, if you don't know her, you never know what it was. For all you know, she was thief that used to steal everybody's things around the neighborhood, and Koloya is ever this and that. But she had a beautiful name, Hiilani. So I'll give it to her. It's in my genealogy. So she's gonna become Hiilani. But you never met Hiilani before. You don't really know Hiilani. All you know is that have a Hiilani in the line, right? So you give it to her. What happens to her? Guess who she becomes? Hiilani the thief. That's another thing. That's why you want to know those things. You want to know. If you don't know, then don't use that. Don't fool with that kind of stuff. Yeah? Don't just say, oh, because your father's name was that. Well, your father was screwing every woman in the neighborhood. No. Okay, you understand? Does that make a lot more sense? Yeah. So all in front of us are the past. All those that came before us. We have to acknowledge that they exist. But are we standing where they're standing? No. She did the rock already thing, okay? Hello, that was great grandmother did the rock thing. I'm not going to do no rock thing because now I get a helicopter to fly on. Thank God she did the rock thing, but I'm not going to be doing that. Right? And you don't want your kids to do that too. You want them to beat me up, Scotty. I'm in Pro City simultaneously at Awana Shopping Center and Pro Regional. Spending all your money at the same time. Okay? Make sense? Okay, you can sit down. Thanks. Bust up nose and whatever. And by the way, her husband broke her nose. That's why Isaac Davis Jr., the one with punch her and stuff. But anyway, when she laid claim to all the Kamehameha lands, which is the Bishop Estate before Hawaii, she was challenged by her cousin, King Kamehameha V, who came out and said, and she was the daughter, known as the daughter of Mataio Kekuanaoa, who was the big-time chief too, that had all this land also, one of Kamehameha's greatest warriors and uncle actually of Kamehameha. And Mataio was supposed to be her father. He lived to a ripe old age of 89 or something like that. But at that time, Kamehameha V said, because he wanted all of that land too, he said, nah, she's not really Mataio's soul. In the court, she actually went to court. Bernice Hawaii Bishop was the witness on her behalf. And all Bernice did was this. I summoned Mataio Kekuanoa, her father, and she brought him into the courtroom and sat him next to her and told the judge, look. And so what they did on this program was that they put the two pictures right up against each other. And they look exactly alike. And that was her way of saying it. And I said, hey, we do that today too. I know in my family, our Akana blood, and we had mostly boys in our family, all the children look like Akanas, okay? Well, you cannot refuse. My older brother had one Japanese girlfriend. Well, he was married to a Hawaiian girl who had 2 kids. While he was still married, he had one Japanese girlfriend, had one baby from that, and one Filipino girl. And he had one baby from her too. I'm sorry. If you wanted to go against the paternal suit, you can, because hello, he looks exactly like him anyway. Whether it was a Filipino or Japanese, that kind of thing just came right out and dominated the whole picture, and they all look like brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? So that's what she used. But I'm just saying that don't feel shy about Hana, and don't feel shy about not knowing either. If you don't know, it's all right. If you don't know what's going on, that's okay. Just do what you think you know, okay? And then we're going to fix the rest. But this is how you're going to be able to do a little bit of your own genealogy, how to chant your own genealogy.
Wonderful. We're going to just...
Mothers and who they're married to.
That's
Who I'm married to. So this is just father, mother. Okay.
Daughter.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay, and then this is me, father, you, and then fathers, mothers. Fathers and mothers here. The mothers of the father married to the fathers, but the mothers of the married to the
Fella.
Okay. Well, you really know how to go all the way back. I have no idea. That's interesting. Let me try this again. I think I did it wrong.